Hey, so what's up, y'all? It's your girl Tony Tone back at it with another video. I know I've been, Mr. Brown gotta get in the mix, but I know I told y'all I was gonna hit y'all with this Q&A video, so I kind of just want to take the time out to do that because it's some really good questions. I'm actually taking a break from like prepping a few cases right now, but I really wanted to make sure that I answer these questions and stuff. Before I get into it, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent and recording a little bit of my journey and stuff like that. So I guess this is a start. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the first question is best advice for someone who's thinking about becoming a lawyer. So I would say the number one most important tip when you're thinking about pursuing this journey is save your money, because it's super expensive. Everything costs from beginning all the way up until you take the bar exam for the most part. And when I say expensive, I literally mean thousands of dollars. So to my parents who even have kids who are expressing early that they want to be lawyers and stuff, start, saving up for them now so it won't cause stress and stuff later on down the line. Yeah, because I know when I first started, like even with the application fees, the price of the LSAT, the price to like prep for the LSAT, the price of law school itself, and things like that, I wasn't super aware that it was that expensive. I was the first lawyer in my family, so like people were supportive and stuff of my journey, but they just didn't know exactly how to unless I was able to figure it out. Most of my journey was by trial and error. Yeah, I had to get the setup back together. My camera had, got the tripping or whatever. So back into it, the next question was, what made you want to be a lawyer? And so it's kind of cliche for the most part, but when kids grow up and stuff and people ask them like what they want to be, my answer was always lawyer. I always wanted to be a lawyer since I was a kid. It was something I always dreamed about. In particular though, I first got introduced kind of to the system through my brother and kind of seeing his encounters and stuff with officers and just the legal system and things like that. And so I always used to think like, what would have been the outcome if I was his representation and stuff. So that was I think the main reason. Like growing up, I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I wanted to kind of really pursue it because of what my brother was going through at the time. Okay, what's the most rewarding part about your job? I think the most rewarding part, like first let me start by saying I never in a million years would have thought that like my legal career would start off at a DA's office. So I always knew, like I always thought going into law school, like okay, I'm gonna do criminal defense, I'm gonna start off criminal defense, blase. And throughout law school I was just clerking at different places just to make sure like okay, I really don't want to do that. Like I went through different clerkships with corporate firms, different government entities and stuff like that. And so happened how I got this job, I was just really kind of applying on Google and just, kind of shoot my shot. Really, I don't know why I chose Philly. I just put in a Google search and saw that they was hiring. I was like, I'm capable to do anything, So I just applied, and then so happened like a few weeks after that they called me for an interview, and 2 weeks after that they called me with the job offer. But the most rewarding part is that with this job, especially when there's victims involved, a lot of times I'm always in like the domestic violence room, and domestic violence doesn't just necessarily mean like spouses. It could also mean like cousins, brothers and sisters, things like that. And so a lot of times, like, very horrible things be happening to these people. And when I'm able to go into the courtroom and advocate for them and, they get up there, they have the courage to kind of testify about what happened to them, and I'm able to kind of bring it home, and able to get justice for them. And then, you know, they go in the back and they kind of hug me and they cry and stuff like that. That's one of the most rewarding parts about the job, is the fact that you could go into, because that's a part of the job. Like, that's the main reason why you're a lawyer. You go into a courtroom speaking to a person. Granted, I'm not at a place right now where I'm speaking to multiple people, which is a jury. I'm just speaking to one person, which is the judge. So yeah, that's the whole purpose about being a lawyer, is being able to go into a courtroom and just advocate on another person's behalf without them having to argue their side or anything like that. So when I'm able to do that successfully, rewarding. Okay, next question. What's the hardest part about the job? I think the hardest part is like the misconception about the job. Like, of course, being black and then growing up in a city like East St. Louis, like, people just automatically think like, oh, you the ops, this and that, whatever, until they need you. Now it's like, oh, what's up with it? You know, you remember, you know, type of thing or whatever. But I think it's the misconception for the most part about the job, because it's like, you're not just, especially at this office where you're just not like putting people in jail. I don't know about other prosecutors' offices. I'm only talking about this because that's where I work. Granted, there are some prosecutors out there that the only goal in life is to just put people in jail, things like that. With this office, they kind of like, it's like a weighing, a balancing scale about not just the victims, but also the defendants. And sometimes the victims just like, you know, I don't want to see them go to jail. So it's just like a balancing scale type of thing. And it's not just about like throwing people in jail. As the prosecutor, like with the defense, it's fine. Of course, like you get clients and stuff like that. But with the prosecutor, that's where all the power is at, child. And I've been able to figure that out ever since I've started. Like, granted, it's the defense that come and be like, you want to do this for my client, this and that. But at the end of the day, it's up to the prosecutor to be like, oh, okay, you know, I ain't gonna prosecute it, things like that. Like, that's where the power is. So it's always the misconception about the job. And also that it's a misconception about just lawyers in general. Like, and I've even talked to older attorneys about this, about just my first year struggles as a lawyer in general. Like, it's just, people just automatically think right when you graduate, rich. And just, you know, it's really just a process. And honestly, even what I was told by other attorneys, like the first year being a lawyer is one of the hardest years of your legal career. So, you know, that's the hard part, and that's something that I'm still kind of struggling with now, to be completely transparent with y'all. What's something a lawyer mentor said to you that stuck with you? So, okay, so let me start by saying this. It's always good to like have a mentor, and I have a lot of mentees, but through most of my like journey, you know, to get to where I'm at now, I didn't really have a mentor for the most part. And I think that was something that I probably should have either reached out to someone or something like that. Like, that's something that I probably would have changed, because it probably would have made my journey a little easier. But also, it's like, you know how, like with some people, you know how I'm like with open arms, like, you know, ask me questions, things like that. I don't know, I just never really came across somebody that was, you know, doing it. And most of the people that were lawyers, they were like older. They were super older. No offense to them, not super older, but they were older than I was. And the process to get into law school and stuff is a little different. Like, it was all paper and stuff with them. Granted, with my journey, it was all electronic. So it's kind of like trial and error type thing. But something that someone told me, I don't know if they were my mentor and stuff like that. That's a hard question. I don't know. Let me think. could I forget this? Because this is something that I tell people all the time. But something that someone has told me that always stuck with me is to don't let this job or don't let this journey kill you. Like, to always find some type of balance when it comes to this stuff. Like, me, I have come to a place now, and it took me a minute to work on this, where I know when my mental health is going down the drain. So I always try to like do something that makes me happy. And for a long time, I didn't know what that was, because back in the day, I played sports and everything. So that was my outlet. But once I started this journey, it was just school, 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 school. And I didn't really have time for hobbies. And to this day, like, I was talking to somebody at work, and I was like, what are my hobbies? I don't know, sleep, like, and that's just like normal stuff. So I'm still getting back on track on like the things that make me happy. But in 2020, when my grandmother passed, I realized that traveling, I forced myself to get on a plane because I used to be scared of that a little bit. And I realized traveling was like my outlet. So I was out of town like every month, like that year at law school and stuff like that, because my mental health was really bad around that time. Especially because when my grandmother passed, it was like 3 days before law school started, that semester started. So I hurry up. I was in Arkansas when I first found out. My sister had called me. And then I just hurry up and hopped on the road or whatever and got there. And, you know, I was able to see my family and stuff like that. But I really couldn't spend too much time with my family, or even too much time grieving for real, because the semester was just finna start. I had to duck off, going to a separate room and study, while, you know, my family enjoying each other company and stuff like that. And I'm just like, damn, like, this journey is, whoo, because one thing about it, it don't show you no mercy. Like, just because you had a death in the family, like, life doesn't stop. So it was just, that was just something hard for me to do with. So baby, what I was doing, I was leaving. And we was remote for the most part. So I was, every time somebody had a trip, I was impulsive traveling at that time. But whatever you needed to do, it before that, like that, it kind of registered what this particular mentor was telling me. Or even if she wasn't a mentor, she still told me, like, make sure you take care of yourself, Tony, because it is a rigorous job, a rigorous journey. And people, that's why people be, a lot of lawyers, you see them, you know, they be committing suicide, you know, they abuse drugs, they abuse alcohol and things like that. So I kind of been trying to balance it a little bit. What's another question? Okay, what motivated you to become an attorney? Okay, I answered that. What will your channel be about? Okay, that's a good one too. So my channel, for the most part, is going to be about, of course, the things I do as a lawyer, my trips that I take, you know. What would you like your subscribers to gain from watching your channel? That's a good question. So everybody that's watching my channel, I just want everyone to feel like unstoppable, you know. Like, I want everyone watching my channel to feel like, oh damn, like I can do anything. Like, when I say it's no limits, it's no limits. Like, I want everybody watching my channel to kind of just live through me and in some way get some motivation on things they can do for themselves, you know. Like, an accomplishment for me is an accomplishment for everybody else, and that's something that I always kind of, you know, live by ever since I've started. Not just this law school journey, but ever since I was in high school. That was kind of always, you know, my standpoint on things, like just motivating people type of thing. How did you juggle mental health while attending law school? When I first started, I wasn't really juggling it. It was bad. I was kind of going through like a rough patch at first, and then, like I stated before, like when my grandmother passed, that's when I kind of discovered that traveling was my thing. Because before then, like, I was going out of town a little bit, but I was traveling after that. The main thing that was kind of like my start of law school was an issue for me was that throughout my entire life, I was a part of the majority. So I went to all black elementary, all black high school, all black college, and then I get to law school and I'm the minority. And so it was kind of like a culture shock for me, like, you know, where the black people at, you know, type of thing. And so I kind of struggled with that when I first got there. And not to mention, like, the type of demand that law school kind of wants from you while you're in it. Like, there was really no off days. So I kind of just had to, you know, figure that out. My first year of law school, I did not do well at all. Actually, to be super transparent with y'all, because, you know, I always live by transparency. And people that's been following me kind of already know this, but to the people who are new here, my first year of law school, I didn't do well because I was just struggling with different things. And then, like, you know, I had a surgery that had me, like, it was a lot. It was a lot. But outside of any excuse or whatever, because I'm not that type of person that gives those, but after my first year, I graduated UAPB in 2018. So the year of 2018, 2019, when I first entered law school, I didn't do well. And child, I got put out. I got put out. I had to go through this whole process of, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but I essentially had to appeal. So I had to appeal to get back in law school, whatever, because it was like there was a certain threshold you had to meet throughout your first year of law school if you were a full-time student. And I didn't meet that threshold, but I didn't get low enough grades to where, like, you know, I couldn't even appeal it. So I was able to appeal and stuff. I was able to get back in law school, but I had to start my whole law school journey over. So instead of spending 3 years in law school, I spent 4. And yeah, that was kind of hard accepted too, because if you know me, like, even growing up, I always was that kid that was top student and all that stuff. And then I get to law school and it was just like, you know, it was just chaotic. Y'all know the little meme where it was just like, and it was just a whole bunch of stuff going around. That's how it was. So it was just a waking up. But, you know, that failure, like I tell people all the time, and maybe sometimes it sounds bad, like, that people need to experience this. Like, I never was the type that, you know, that overnight success stuff. I really had to, But the failures, y'all, if everybody had to experience one, I wish everybody would, because it literally woke up a beast. Like, ever since then, like, going into law school anew, like, I was getting good grades. I was, you know, killing interviews, getting good clerkships. Like, the people that was doing clerkship and stuff, like, my first go around, they was telling me no left and right. Like, no, sorry to inform you and stuff like that. And then that second go around, when I had got readmitted into law school, they was like, want me. Like, best friend was like, that's crazy, y'all turned me down the first time. But it just shows, like, how, you know, people depend on grades a lot of the time to determine people's success. I'm not really a person that's in agreement with that, but, you know, tomato, whatever. Yeah, how do you balance mental health with being an attorney? Kind of the same thing like I did with law school. I just kind of try to travel. Like, every time I feel myself, like, going downhill, I buy me a plane ticket. I gotta get up out of here, type of thing. Maybe that's called running. I don't even know if that's healthy, but I started back working out and stuff too, type of thing. But being an attorney is a very stressful job. Like, the stress does not stop after graduating law school. It actually may get worse when becoming an attorney, because the workload is so rigorous. And think about it, you're essentially taking other people's problems and making them your own. You're getting paid for it, but you're still doing it. What can we hope for you in the future from you? Because I know you're going to do great things anyway. Oh, thank you. I don't really know. Like I said, I didn't really see myself being a prosecutor or anything starting off in my legal career. In the future, who knows? I may go private, you know, on the defense side. Who knows? Who knows? Some people brought the idea of me, like, becoming a judge, things like that. But that's just stuff you know, I'm only like 4 months in to being an attorney, so I haven't been thinking that far ahead on things. But you know, I'll be sure that's something that's gonna be on the channel. I'll be sure to keep y'all updated on stuff like that. Okay, what's the next question? Do you got a man? Y'all get into the tea. I do. I do. I do. I got a man. I do. And you know, one of these days, actually let me not say too much, but yeah, one of these days, you know, I'm gonna share him on my channel more. My past relationships and stuff like that have been public, so I kind of just been trying to like, you know, like caress this one with tender love and care. Until I'm able to really, you know, like share whatever. But you know, who knows? I might vlog and stuff like that. You know, Valentine's Day just passed. It was a great, great, great time. He flew out to Philly and spent Valentine's Day weekend with me, so that was nice. But yeah, stay tuned on that. What's the next question? Oh, friendships. Y'all know I love my friends, y'all. So okay, let me be okay. So I'm guessing the question is like balancing friendships in law school. Okay, yeah, I'm guessing that's what the question is. My friends kept me so sane. Like, I cannot thank them enough for the uplift and the encouraging words and the prayers. Like, it's just, to this day, I'm just find myself, you know, sometimes weeping at how grateful I am for my friendships. Even some of my friends, I've been friends with them since we was in elementary. Even the friends that I met in college, we fought L. You know, it's just, I'm just super grateful because, you know, outside of, you know, words and stuff, even when my grandmother passed, my friends like Jade and Carver, the other Jade, she already stayed in Little Rock or whatever. Yeah, I have two friends named Jade. I know I'm lucky. But, yeah, even when that happened, they like flew to Little Rock or whatever to spend a weekend with me. Like, little stuff like that I will never forget. Even with my friends, like, because most of my friends, they're in different areas. Like, I have a friend in LA, a friend in Memphis, then Jay's in Atlanta, the other Jay's in Arkansas. Carver, she's a flight attendant, so she's all over. So it's just, my friends is pretty much everywhere. I got friends in Houston, and then of course the friends that's in St. Louis and stuff. And so like when we get together, it really be vibes because I don't know, yeah, like I just can't, like I love them so much. Like even throughout my law school, like I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I lost my friends and stuff like that in law school. But it's like, I'ma just be real. Them was your friends, because my friends like was super understanding about certain things. Like if I couldn't make it, they understood it. They'd try to get me to go, but they never was on some, oh, we finna cut Tony out because, you know, she too busy for us. You know what I'm saying? Like that was never the case. Or even with like, of course, through law school, or I'm not even gonna say of course because I don't know if y'all know this or if this is a universal known thing, but during my first year of law school, I couldn't work. So I didn't have like no type of income coming in or anything like that. And even when I used to be like, nah, I can't afford this and that, they would like pitch in and just, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. It's just, now we of course are all in our careers for the most part. So it's also easier for us to travel to each other. We was doing it anyway, child, but especially now, we try to find some time to at least a few times out the year to get together and have a good time. So yeah, that's tea, y'all. Friendships. Well, even during the bar exam, I was hearing people saying that friendships was like breaking because, you know, during the bar exam, I ain't even gonna lie to you, that was the worst time of my life. Maybe that could be another video, but baby, the bar exam, you essentially taking the whole summer off. Like last summer 2022, I didn't do anything. So I graduated May 22. And then like a week and a half after that, it was time to study for the bar. So most of that summer, I didn't really do anything. Like if my cousin's birthday, I, you know, popped out for her. Or like my sister's birthday, I popped out for her. But that was at nighttime. So like most of the day, I was just studying, child. It was ugly. But once again, my friends would never know, you know. Okay, y'all, my battery finna die. And, but this is the last question. I'm gonna do more videos. LSAT, I took a LSAT prep class because it was so like urgent. The LSAT, they was only finna administer it one time before I was finna graduate, and so I paid $1,200 to enroll in that class, and I only took the LSAT once. I know some people that did other resources. That's kind of what I did. I'll get deep into it in another video. But thanks for watching, y'all. Stay tuned. Make sure y'all subscribe, and love you guys. Bye.